Alright, I swear, I'm gonna get one of these videos right. This is like the billionth time I've tried to record this. So, I'm outside because it is a lovely Easter Sunday. I hope everyone is enjoying their Easter or having a good day. Normally I celebrate Easter with my family, but unfortunately we're all kind of divided up now that we're older and we've all left the nest, left the house. I'm actually still at home. I'm sitting on top of my patio to stay away from my dogs over there. They just keep trying to get in the video and it's not working. So hope everyone else is enjoying their Easter Sunday. I'm actually going to be celebrating it with some friends of mine. I made little Easter baskets, so I'm very excited with how they turned out and I hope everyone likes them. But to get down to things, to get down to the project, hopefully I get it right this time. I keep messing up. Alright, so what I started with is I just really went off of my presentation proposal. There wasn't much else to add to it. I had already said everything I wanted to say. So for kids in the system, for issues that they face, a few of the things that I listed or things that I knew about already were things like bad role models or no role models at all. There's also little to no guidance. A lot of kids feel like they're just lost or not really know where they're going in life. Some kids have abandonment issues, for kids whose parents might have been involved in the beginning but then just dropped off and now they're in foster care, they're in the system. They can feel like they've been abandoned. There's little to no life skills that these kids develop. No one's really teaching them how to be people, I guess you could say. There's no community really, and I feel like that can stem from being moved around from place to place as you don't feel well established in the area that you're living in, so you don't really have time to build relationships with other people. You don't have time to build a community. There's a lack of respect for the area that they live in, and I think that also comes from the community thing. Is you can't really respect an area that you live in if you don't live in it for very long. You don't learn to respect the area around you. There's also constant inconsistency. It's consistently inconsistent, you could say. The program that I picked that I feel like covers all these bases is actually Girl Scouts. I was personally involved with Girl Scouts for over 10 years. I started in Girl Scouts when I was in 2nd grade. And I know we're supposed to be talking about kids in the system in general, and I'm focusing on Girl Scouts, but there's also Boy Scouts for the other side of the spectrum, or the other side of it. So back to what I was saying, I've actually been involved in Girl Scouts for over a decade. I started in 2nd grade. And I continued all the way through to high school, and I was even a brownie leader for a little bit after high school. Unfortunately, I'm not in a troop anymore because I am too busy with school and with work. I, however, am still technically a Girl Scout. I was awarded a lifetime membership after I finished my decade. The Girl Scout Council of America awarded me a lifetime membership, so I'm just not registered to a troop is what it is right now. I can go volunteer for programs still because they have all my information. But yeah, I'm just technically not tied to a troop right now. Let's see. So to start with, the first thing that I mentioned is the bad role models. How Girl Scouts how they fix that is you now are surrounded by role models. Your Girl Scout troop leaders and other ambassadors like myself. I was actually a Brownie Cadet ambassador where I taught little Brownie kids. So those are second. That's 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade, I think, if I'm right. Don't Google it. I probably got it wrong. But they're young kids. They're elementary school youth. I was an ambassador as a cadet, so I would lead around a group of brownies at any kind of camps that we did. I would be assigned to them, and we would just bond. So it was always a nice experience. Even though I only had them for a week, they were, my kiddos who I took care of. And to be a good role model for them is the most important thing. Kids at that age, they really need to see good role models, good strong women who know what they're doing and who can take care of business, I guess you could say. And the troop leaders too, they help a lot. You can really look to them for guidance, and that's one of the other things I mentioned is there's little to no guidance in youth in the system. They don't really have someone to say, oh, we're going to do this now because it benefits you in this way. You know, they don't have somebody to guide them through life. And your troop leaders do become that guidance. They help you know, earn your badges, lead you down the path that rocks. They show you the way pretty much. Another thing that I mentioned is abandonment issues. You know, a lot of kids coming into the system feel like they've been abandoned, or, you know, they could even feel abandoned by the system if they feel like they're not being adequately taken care of. Kids whose parents might have been involved in the beginning, you know, who are no longer there, that can really mess up some kids. So being a part of Girl Scout troops, it makes you feel a part of something. You know, you don't feel abandoned. You feel like you're part of a family. That's what your troop becomes. It really becomes a family. You learn everybody's name, and spending so much time with them, you know, because they're to go with the consistency. Girl Scouts is a really consistent program. You know, we have weekly meetings, we have monthly activity days. Like First Saturday, I actually was a part of First Saturdays for a long time, where I led different programs and recycling seminars, or I guess seminar isn't the best word to use when you're just teaching kids how to make cool crafts out of trash. But it was a lot of fun, you know, doing the activity days. And then we also have our seasonal camping trips where, you know, we go to different places depending on the weather. And one of my favorite camping trips was actually called Willow Springs. It's up in Prescott. We went there maybe once every other year. It was so much fun, beautiful up north in Prescott. It's not anything like down here in the valley. It's so hot down here, and I'm sure Prescott is just experiencing beautiful weather today. Another fun camping trip I went on was I think for our 2014 Jamboree. It was Star Wars themed, super cool. We went to a YMCA camp up north, and I had actually been to that camp previously in 5th grade for science camp. So much fun. So I already knew the campsite. Like, I already knew where everything was, and people would follow me because I knew where I was going. So let's see. Little to no life skills is an issue that I mentioned. Well, in Girl Scouts, you are learning all kinds of life skills. Like, I could spend all day listing the different life skills. We have a badge for each life skill. I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with how many badges a Girl Scout can earn. You always see them like decked out. I didn't really put badges on my vests or anything. I actually was more fond of my swap hat. My swap hat, it's a hat full of fun things. So SWAP actually stands for some whatchamacallit affectionately placed somewhere. You make these cute little trinkets, you put pins on them, and you give them to other kids when you go camping. So I always kind of felt like those were more of my badges of honor, you know, to just have a bunch of collections of random fun things that people made. I think I'm running low on time, so we'll skip some of the things. In regards to reform, I don't feel like Girl Scouts has much reforming that needs to be done. You know, Girl Scouts is constantly evolving. It's constantly changing with the world. It's nothing what it was like back in 1912 when Girl Scouts was actually first started. You know, things are constantly changing on a regular basis. I bet if I went to a troop, I probably wouldn't even know what was going on unless I like sat down for the whole class and was like, okay, I'm here, what are we doing? So even in the regards to things that we sell, back in 1912, they actually sold taffy for Girl Scouts. So in regards to funding, to hit that bullet point, Girl Scouts, as you may or may not know, our main source of funding comes from Girl Scout cookies. You know, a wise person always buys more and puts them in the freezer to have them throughout the year. So that's our way of funding, and actually I think the Samoas and the Thin Mints are the most popular Girl Scout cookie, and Thin Mints are actually vegan. If you didn't know that, they are vegan, so you can have them if you're on a vegan diet. So it works too. So since there's no reforming advice that I have for the Girl Scouts program, the two quotes that I picked don't have anything to do with that, but I'm just going to quote them to hit that point. So the first one I wrote was, Girl Scouts of America is the largest girl organization that for over 100 years has been a humanitarianistic and political organization that is all about the moral empowering of women. And that quote is from Young and Mason from an article that they did in 2012 called Empowering Women Since 1912. And they rewrote that. So they wrote it on the century anniversary of Girl Scouts. Another quote that I had is, Girl Scouts has always been focused on training girls to be responsible and resourceful citizens with an intimate focus on leadership development and empowerment of girls. And that's a quote from Hy and Pipper's article back in 2015 that they wrote. called Girltopia, Girl Scouts and the Leadership Development of Girls. So I just put those 2 quotes in there because I didn't have quotes for reforming. There's no reforming to be done, if I'm honest. Like, we are constantly up to date on what's going on with the world. So I think I hit all my points. Well, I hope you guys have a happy Easter. Bye.